Hiya folks, how are we? Hope we're all keeping well. I've got something a little bit different tonight because you might struggle to see this. This is Tullamore D.E.W, 18-year-old single malt Irish whiskey, 41.3%. Now, this is not a full bottle. You may have noticed this, okay? You're very sharp as tacks, you guys. No, what this is this is a company called Drinks by the Dram, okay? And what they do is they make up little packs. My little squeaky chair. I notice these things get picked up. It picks up all these squeaky noises, and when you rub your face or give your eye a wee rub, it picks up the sound of that, no problem. But I always think my voice sounds a bit odd on these things. But anyway, you live and learn. Now, what Drinks by the Dram does, as you probably have guessed, they fill these little 30cl bottles and sell these. Now, what that does is, it's basically like a commercial bottle share. There's lots of friends buy these bottles. They'll buy a bottle of good whiskey, expensive whiskey, get in contact with a few mates and say, we'll bottle share this. They'll divide it up and send over something reasonable. It'll always be bigger than this. You wouldn't really do this. So they'll send over 50 milliliter samples, basically a double, and they'll do that between maybe 5-10 friends and send them over. So people end up with these whiskies that they get to sample, these whiskies that they don't particularly want to shell out for themselves. A full bottle of Tullamore D.E.W 18-year-old is about £90, £80-90. So expensive enough in the grand scheme of things. Not just one that you're going to pick off the shelf, but for an 18-year-old Irish whiskey, again, probably not. It's not that expensive either these days. Now, Drinks by the Dram do, and I'm just going to check here. I have my little computer here beside me, so I can just check. They do an Irish whiskey tasting box for £45, and you get 12 different 30cl samples, or 30 milliliter samples, not CL. It's not half bottles. Now they're wax sealed, okay, which is good, which means you don't have to drink these very quickly. I bought this a while ago, or I can't remember. I either bought this or was given it. I can't remember, which is very remiss of me. If you bought me this as a present, I do apologise because I forgot where it's come from. It's been sitting up here for quite a while. Now, in the Irish Whiskey Collection box, as I say, you get 12 of these little bottles for £45, which seems really good value to me. Now, what do you get? You get a Teeling Small Batch in Egan's Vintage Grain, Irish Single Malt No. 2, Batch 6, 15-year-old, that Boutique Whiskey Company, Rowan Co Irish Whiskey, Hinch Peated, we like that, Teeling Single Grain, Egan's Fortitude, Irish Single Malt No. 1, 13-year-old, that Boutique Whiskey Company, Teeling Single Malt, JJ Corrie the Gale, Batch No. 1, Hinch Single Pot Still, and Irish Single Malt No. 2, 12-year-old, that Boutique Whiskey Company. So you're getting stuff it's not premium Irish whiskey. They're entry level, but they're kind of collectible stuff too. The Gale Batch No. 1, excellent. The Hinch Peated Single Malt, fabulous whiskey, really good. Setting you back about £30-something a bottle, £35 a bottle roughly. So I mean, I think it's very good value for money. And if you really want to try a lot of whiskies for not a lot of money, they make a good present too. If there's a birthday coming up of somebody that you know who's a whiskey drinker, it really is a nice way of letting them get a little drink to try and taste. Now, as I say, it's 41.3%, which is it's a strange bottling ABV, if I'm honest. It almost leads you to suspect that that it was bottled at that almost by accident rather than design. Yeah, it's strange. A strange ABV to be bottling at. It certainly seems that way anyway. Now, I just want to check something here too, because there's no writing obviously on the box of these, so you have to sort of search for what this is. So you can pick up the bottle and read the bump, and you don't get that, but you're getting this at reasonable price. Again, I can't remember what this was for me to buy from Drinks by the Dram, but let me see now. Tullamore D.E.W 18-year-old bottling note. Launched in 2016, this is an 18-year-old single malt whisky from the excellent Tullamore D.E.W range. Now, it's not from Tullamore D.E.W because the Tullamore D.E.W distillery wasn't open that long, so this is sourced. It's coming in from Middleton, I think. Let's see. Or sorry, this is probably coming in from Bushmills. Now, deep colour on it. I haven't tried this, so that's whenever I said it's coming from Bushmills, I haven't tried it, so I can't be 100% sure. There's certainly a punchy nose on that for something that's quite low ABV. There's a very clean note, which it's almost letting you think that there's a higher alcohol content than there is, and there's a cut grass note in it. It's actually quite. I'll let that sit a little bit actually, because I think it needs to settle coming out of the bottle. I really should have poured this prior to doing this, because it should have been out for a little bit longer. It's been trapped in there for a while. So we'll get back to it, because I don't think I'm going to do it justice trying it now. Now, Tullamore, for anyone who's not maybe familiar with the brand, Tullamore is the second best selling Irish whiskey now, after Jameson. It's had a huge investment from Grant's, the big Scottish whiskey firm, and they are really pushing it. They have built a whole new facility. They opened up the old distillery on the site. The site of the old distillery, they've pumped in well in excess of 30 million into this. Obviously, the Grant's massive distribution range, distributors, etc., etc. They'll be pushing this quite heavily once it really becomes their own spirit and have more control over what they are making and what's coming out of it. And I'm glad to see, in many ways, it's nice that the big companies, and by big companies I mean the Scotch and the Japanese, the ones that are established, and the Americans, as well, are having the confidence and the faith to buy into the Irish whiskey. So now all the big players are involved. You know, Brian Foreman, you have Grant's, you have Beam Suntory, who've been there for a long time now, Diageo are all in it. And there's plenty of space for all of these guys. It's nice when people talk about the boutique whiskey guys, the small guys. Ballykeefe, they've just released their own spirit there last week or the week before. Michel Distillery, who we got to talk to Porrick the other day, the brand ambassador. They're only going to be making a barrel of whiskey a week. There's plenty of space for these guys. We all like to buy into those little stories, but for a good healthy market you need everything from the big hitters all the way down to the little guys. So yeah, it's nice that the big guys are pumping in, have the confidence, and they're pumping their money into this too, you know. Settled down. It's done its little explosion and almost played its party piece, and now it's settled down a little bit. Now, what I'm getting from that, again, there's a grassy note. There's an almost a floral note to it. It's that light, mentally kind of note where it's fresh. It's almost clearing your sinuses. It's that kind of note to it. It's lifting it. Rich fruit. Again, those sort of deeper fruits coming from nice rich sherry casks. This is finished in, just have to check this, finished for up to 6 months in bourbon, Oloroso Sherry, port and Madeira casks. So basically it's fortified wines. And it's got that nose to it. It's got that rich fruit nose. But again, it's got that clean note coming over the top of it, which it almost it's almost clearing the way for this other notes to come through. And they're coming through quite well. This could probably do with a touch of water, just a little touch of water, but we'll try it first. Yeah, really nice mouthfeel. There is bready quality to this. When I say bread, bread cake is hidden between the two. It's like a good artisanal bread and a not overly sweet cake. It's that kind of area, you know, where it's a baked good. Citrus there. Little bit of on the palate, almost like a tobacco-y note, and I mean fresh tobacco. It's interesting cask choice actually. It's slightly different from what I would have expected it to be. A little bit floral, Parma violet-y. The finish quite sweet. Delivered quite well. Nice smooth sweetness coming through on it. So you're getting the caramels, that mellow citrus, so almost a grapefruity. Not bitter grapefruit, but you know, like that sort of pink grapefruit where it's and almost like a melon. You know that kind of area I'm talking about. That fruity without it being acidic and having that flavour. But I know grapefruit's quite acidic, but it's that flavour heading towards like melon in that area where the fruitiness is. Yeah, that's really quite good, really quite nice. Wouldn't say it's the most complex I've ever tasted, but Tullamore's a funny one. I always Tullamore, the basic entry level Tullamore was very estery, very green, very light, very easy drinking, which is what it's supposed to be. But I always think it should take the cask better, and it doesn't necessarily do that. I was really, really hopeful that the cider cask one would have been really special. It turned out it wasn't really that good at all. This is okay. I wouldn't rant and rave about it. At £90, little bit over the money. If I was marking it, tell you what, I'm going to quickly put a little bit of water in it. I know I'm sort of messing about with this, but I'll put just a little drop of water on it because it might help it a little bit. And I know I should leave it for a good few minutes, but I don't want to bore you guys, you know. I don't want you all being bored. Give it a swishy. Yeah, even in that short space of time, it's actually opened it a little bit, where there's a bit more autumnal fruits coming through, a bit more rich fruits, sort of dark red apples. Yeah, those sort of orchardy notes. Yeah, that's it. Needs that little touch of water actually, and that brings it along an awful lot. The water just allows the fruits to get a bit more rich, a bit deeper. That additional water takes that little bit of the clean note, the mentally thing at the start of it. It drops that down a little bit, and lets more of the richness come through. The fruit is moves into a bit more of a dark, richer fruit. Still fresh fruit, I would say, not the cooked stuff. So it's kind of fresh fruit that is moved away from that melon citrusy to a bit more rich, deep, fortified wine. Fair enough. Fortified wine area, and try that with a little touch of water on it. It makes a difference. It really does. Yeah. So I'm going to mark this. I'm not going to score it too high because where it's at is a reasonable. It's a reasonable price for an 18-year-old whiskey, but in its peer group, I'll give it 6 out of 10. In its peer group, 6 out of 10. There's an awful lot better for the money. I'll tell you where it is. It's actually sitting in the sort of Bushmill 16 range, and if you're going to compare that to Bushmill 16, it's not going to stand up that well, if I'm honest. But all in all, not bad. You won't be disappointed with it if you get it, really. But it's not going to blow your mind. So I've kept you a bit longer than normal. I've kept you nearly 20 minutes. I do apologise. Don't forget, you can catch us, Justin and myself, every Saturday night, 10 PM, live on YouTube. We do our show. We do a podcast every week now where we sit and talk about anything that takes our fancy. We answer questions that people pose. People send us little questions and we answer those. And yeah, so join us for a bit of a laugh and a giggle on a Saturday night. We tend not to take ourselves too seriously, so come along, have a laugh, and don't forget to pose some questions to us and stuff. We'll probably not be able to answer them, but we'll give it a go. So again, take care. I'll speak to you soon, and stay safe. And hopefully you're all getting jabbed. I keep reading about all these massive figures of people getting jabbed. Good on you guys, and I hope everything gets back to normal ASAP. Take care.